Richard, thank you for taking your time out and to answer a few questions for us.
You're welcome.
Now tell me about the books you just published.
Okay, my brother and I published a series of books called Apogee Books. That's the name of the label. And we published a series of books called the NASA Mission Reports, which is, we're trying to preserve the education for the children of what we did in Apollo and Mercury and Gemini, all the space flights from 30 years ago. But we're also now trying to push forward so that we can educate kids to see that space really does affect all of us.
You're involved with the Space Frontier Foundation. How long before do you think we'll have hotels in space and travel space on a daily basis?
The issue is not whether we can do it, the issue is the money, and it's got to be able to pay for itself. That's what we at the foundation try to do. We're trying to make it a business, a viable business, and an economic proposition that we know people are out there who would really love to go into space. How much are they prepared to pay for it? Mr. Tito just spent something in the region of about $15 million to go, and there are a lot of other people who would spend that. But I mean, that's a little bit out of most people's league. I think that if we could get into space around about $100,000 for a 1 week or a 2 week stay, there would be millions of people lining up to go.
Do you think that our continuous exploration of space is going to endanger the human species?
I think it's the only way that we will continue as a species. The reason the dinosaurs died is because they didn't have a space program. One of the things that I run a program called The Watch, and we try to finance astronomers to find asteroids out there that are flying around, big giant chunks of rock, as in Deep Impact and Armageddon. And we want to be able to find these things so that we know where they are, because if an asteroid hits this planet, it'll make a volcano or an earthquake look like a picnic. But the great thing about this is that we can actually do something about it. If we have enough warning of an asteroid impacting the Earth, we can actually move it. We have ways and means of being able to move it, and I don't mean blowing it up with nuclear weapons. And so I think that without a space program, we are doomed as a species. Eventually, sooner or later, even Stephen Hawking said it recently, we are doomed as a species unless we have a space program, a really viable, energetic space program. It's the only way to go.
How would our diet be like up in space?
Yes, that's a funny question in some respects, because we interviewed a lot of the Apollo astronauts, and they had issues with the fact that some of the food was good. The food on the space shuttle now is a lot better than it was on the Apollo days. In the Apollo days, they kind of squeezed it out of a tube. Now they have nice food. They have shrimp and all sorts of different foods. But I think pretty much as long as it doesn't flake and disappear into lots of little pieces, if you have like a flaky cookie or something and it breaks, you bite it, you're going to get lots of crumbs floating around. They're not going to be on your shirt. They're going to be floating around.
And you can still eat them.
Yeah, and you're going to be catching them and trying to eat them when they're floating around you. So you've got to be careful. It's got to be kind of sticky food. If it's sticky food, it stays in one place. You know, so you can keep it there, dip it in some ranch dressing or something, and bite it.
Through your exploration, did you find any extraterrestrials up in space or Mars or trying to contact Earth? Is there any sign, evidence of that?
That's a really good question. Yes, there is evidence of life on other planets. Not of the type that we would like to see right now, in terms of, you know, aliens with big eyes coming down and saying, hey fella, how are you? Take us to your leader. But we think now that there's life pretty much spread throughout the universe, but of a single-celled nature, like bacteria, single-celled organisms. I absolutely, totally believe the amount of stars and planets out there, there are civilizations out there.